Today in the world of guitar news, we have a new release from 𝗦𝗦𝗔𝗡, the HX1. Did anyone ask for this? So this is an interesting video from 𝗦𝗦𝗘. Now, if you aren't familiar with 𝗦𝗦𝗘 and sort of like their philosophy, their ecosystem, I kind of look at 𝗦𝗦𝗘 as like the EA games of the guitar space. Now, why is that? Because as a 𝗦𝗦𝗘 Pod HD owner, I remember the days when they used to charge people every time they would have a new major update with the amps that I wanted to play. So for example, if you as a Pod HD owner wanted to play through a 5150, you had to pay extra to get that feature. Now they've stopped doing that and they've started just releasing updates pretty regularly, which is a big win because I think they got a lot of backlash for that old business model. But now their new business model seems to be taking their flagship product and segregating it into smaller and smaller pieces and smaller offerings and just squeezing every last bit that they can out of it, which by the way, I don't have a problem with. I just think it's really interesting. It's not the first company to do that either. You have this, for example. This is the Hot Tone Ampero Mini, right? This is really interesting because Hot Tone has actually released an Ampero 2, and then they released the Ampero Mini after, which is like based off the original Ampero and not the Ampero 2. It's a little bit confusing. So to give 𝗦𝗦𝗘 some credit where credit's due, at least they're staying consistent, you know, and not releasing like the Helix 2 and then going back and releasing the HX1 or whatever this is. It looks to me like this is a single block from the Helix that you could just load an effect onto. A powerful stereo effect pedal in ultra compact enclosed that easily fits onto any pedal board. Features intuitive controls, 250 plus effects taken from HX family processors. Unique flux controller eject for connecting optional expression pedal or 2 foot switches. Interesting. Adjustable input impedance MIDI capabilities and choice of true or buffered DSP bypass. Now see, this is the HX technology though, so if I'm not mistaken, this is the same stuff that is in the HX Stomp or the Helix or whatever. The effects do sound really, really good inside the Helix, but I just think this is a weird move because you have all of these new modelers coming out, like the Headrush Prime came out, the Fender ToneMaster Pro came out, the Quad Cortex has been out for a while now. You have all these new competitors coming into their space, and 𝗦𝗦𝗘 has an aging unit at this point. I shot out a bunch of units recently. I will link that down in the description below, but kind of what I found through doing that is that the 𝗦𝗦𝗘 stuff sounds dated compared to the rest of them, surprisingly, because on its own, I think it sounds fine, but when you start stacking it up to the newer stuff, you can hear like artificial top end and like, you know, sort of like a flatness, unresponsiveness that the newer units just don't have. So to me, it's really interesting that they would release another product in the HX line of products. But I do think that this is really cool. I think that this probably is a better move than them releasing the HX Stomp XL, because that was just kind of a weird product. To me, the HX Stomp XL was trying to do what all of the Halloween movies did, where it's like, hey, let's just release this and pretend like none of this other stuff exists. It's just kind of a weird thing. Now, I have had conversations with friends in the Helix ecosystem who think this is a cool product. And, you know, I think it retails for $269. Yeah, let's look at the Helix line of products here. So we have the HX Effects, which comes in at $649.99. You have the HX Stomp, which comes in at $699. And then you have the HX Stomp XL for $749. So for $50 more, you get the HX Stomp XL, which has 5 additional foot switches. A little bizarre. And then we have the 𝗦𝗦𝗘 Pod Go, $499. We have the full Helix board, $1699. And then we have the Helix LT for $1199. So I think 𝗦𝗦𝗘's approach to this is they just look at like the price spread on their products and they're like, you know, we don't have anything in the $499 range. Let's make a product for the $499 range. I think that's what's going on here, because a lot of their products seem to overlap a lot in their functionality and what they really do. And the HX1 is $299 on Sweetwater. So for $300, you're only getting 1 block, whereas something like the HX Stomp at $700, quite a bit more money, but you're getting several more blocks. You're getting like the amp modeling technology. You're getting all of that stuff. The Pod Go, that's a huge unit for $499. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Maybe this is a good product in their lineup. But here's the big caveat when it comes to price. $499, that seems like a pretty reasonable price for a used HX Stomp. I've seen these things go down as low as like $350 before. Here's one for $514. Okay, so $500 seems like a pretty reasonable price. I think when you consider all the Line 6 stuff and how they have a spread over all the different price ranges and all that, you kind of have to factor in the used market as well, because their stuff is always on the used market, and you can usually find a pretty good deal on a lot of their stuff. So I guess it's kind of like, do you want to buy a used thing? Because you could buy a new single block for $300, or you spend $500 on a used HX Stomp and end up with a whole bunch of blocks and amp modeling and stuff like that. So to me, it's just a really interesting tactic. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just think that every time I see Line 6 release a new product in the Helix ecosystem, it's just like, wow, they're just squeezing every last penny they can out of that thing before they release a new one, huh? So as always, I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.